Another new teaser for the 5th episode of the Amazing Digital Circus has been released. Now we were shown the 5th episode from a completely different side, and what exactly awaits us is not very clear. But I found some very interesting points, which I'll tell you about right now, because they could be key to the new episode, and will also change the perception of the digital circus as a whole. In the teaser, we see Pomni, Kinger, and Regatha in an office of some sort, which clearly doesn't fit with the theme of episode 5 at all. Previously, we were shown Jax with a gun in Safari, and emphasized on that for 2 whole teasers. From the old trailer, we have a concept of a stadium with no information about it at all. And today, we were shown the office. And the teaser appeared not only on Twitter, but also on the Wacky Watch website, where, as with Jax, there is a continuation of the phrase from the Twitter post. It doesn't reveal much about the plot, but it turns the understanding about the 5th episode upside down. But by the way, what I really liked was the new characters that were not previously seen in the teasers. Regatha looks very happy, and for some reason she's wearing sunglasses. Kinger looks surprised by something, like he's seeing a computer for the first time. Pomni, on the other hand, is clearly not happy because the computer reminds her of something bad. And this place seems familiar. Don't you get that feeling? The design of the keyboard is very similar to the design of the computer from the first episode, when Pomni was trying to escape and running around the hallways of C and A. So there's a reference in this teaser about getting out of the Amazing Digital Circus. There was a theory quite some time ago that Pomni worked at this company in real life and then was put into the digital circus. Like, there's some similarities in that too. If you look closely at the location, it even reminds you of the office we saw in the pilot. Now I want to talk about Regatha, because as Gooseworks told us, the 5th episode will be dedicated to her. But what's interesting is that we have 2 teasers for Jax, 1 teaser for Pomni, 1 general teaser, and 1 teaser with Regatha, Pomni, and Kinger. It's like Jax stands out the most here. From this, I get the impression that 2 episodes at once will focus on both Jax and Regatha at the same time. Something similar was in the 3rd episode, but it was shorter in duration, and if we look at the teaser itself, Regatha looks very happy. By the way, there might be 2 adventures in episode 5, and I have an explanation for that. We saw Pomni in the white location in the very first teaser. The white location is also in the new teaser, meaning Pomni will be in the office where the first challenge will be tedious, but the second challenge will be in the savannah where it will obviously be more fun because Jax is there. Since in the new teaser Regatha is the only one who is happy and wearing sunglasses, maybe she will go to Jax in the savannah, which will help to gradually reveal the character of 2 characters at once. And what she might be carrying in her hands are some work reports. There's also 1 character hidden in this teaser. If we look at him in detail, we see another hand right in front of Regatha. I think it's Jax's hand because he's the only one with yellow gloves, and he's clearly in a hurry to get somewhere, so he holds out the last sheet so that you can barely see it. And by the way, it turns out that you can add this teaser to the number of teasers with Jax. But one more interesting detail is that Pomni is dressed not in her usual Joker costume, but in business classic suit, which probably tells us that each character will have different clothes in the 5th episode for each challenge. And speaking of the plot, we've been given the placement of the characters in a very interesting way. It's like we're actually watching them through the computer itself, which again makes a reference to C and A, the company that came up with the game, The Amazing Digital Circus. Unfortunately, it's not very clear what exactly is written on the sheet Jax is holding, so it's impossible to say for sure what it's specifically about. Looking on the bright side, I don't think episode 5 will be identical to episode 4, where the characters worked for Gangle in a fast food place, and in episode 5 the characters will be working for someone in an office. I think either way the adventures will be different, just maybe this new teaser will be a flashback or a dream. But it's also possible this is all a provocation from Glitch themselves, because they're literally confusing us and not letting us figure out the plot of episode 5 until the end. They say so in the post, but here's another interesting detail. Perhaps we will be shown an extensive trailer for several episodes at once, in which there will be office work, savannah, and stadium. That's exactly the stadium is not revealed to the end of the location. And maybe Glitch specially keep the teaser with the stadium until the end, or until the trailer itself. Speaking of the trailer, we all waited for it, but instead of it they gave a teaser, which changed the idea of the future episode. But when can we expect it now? I think there will be a couple more teasers in the next week, and in a week we will definitely see the trailer for the 5th episode. But I have the impression that the 5th episode is going to be unusual, because there is something really interesting going on. Glitch has never done this before, which makes me even more eager to see what exactly is in store for us next. And what do we have so far? Most likely the main characters of episodes 5 and 6 won't change, only they will be given the same amount of attention in both episode 5 and 6. I think we'll get a few more teasers before the trailer is released, which will either give us more insight into the 5th episode or confuse us even more. And I'd also like to point out that in 2 or 3 weeks there will be an episode that essentially splits the entire show into 2 parts, and we have exactly half of it left to watch. Perhaps the 5th episode will be one of the most key episodes and will slowly break our idea of the Amazing Digital Circus. Or the plot will start to change more globally, and after a while the adventures will end completely. Episode 5 may start to take us into a darker world, where we will start to learn the history behind the creation of the circus as a whole, the secrets of the very company C&A, and the reason for putting the characters in the digital world. I also really hope that we start to be told more about the abstracted characters, as well as exactly how the process works. I mean, really, it's been halfway through the series and we're seeing Kane start to slowly go insane. We're learning the characters and the rough history of each character, but we still know next to nothing about abstraction. But I also have a theory that these details may be the most interesting, and that's why they are revealed very little. And towards the end of the show, the whole truth will be revealed. And speaking of which, I'll tell you a little bit about the next episodes. I think that this summer will be released not only the 5th episode, but most likely the 6th episode. Maybe at the very end of the summer or early fall, we'll see a 7th episode. There should be no more such big pauses between episodes because the whole series should be released by the end of this year. It is also still not clear exactly how many episodes there will be. Initially, it was supposed to be 8, but then they said that the series will have 9 episodes. Sometime later, the IMDb website reported that The Amazing Digital Circus will already have 10 episodes, but which of these is true is still not clear. In any case, I think that before the full plot is revealed, we have to wait a little bit, and in the next half a year, the whole series will be released. Also, keep in mind that there will be episodes on the Gaslight District released in parallel, but I'm sure the episodes on the Amazing Digital Circus won't be so delayed anymore. Maybe the 5th episode will be one of the most interesting, because it's like Glitch is purposely upping the intrigue before the trailer comes out. Or like I said, there will be a trailer for several episodes at once. What do you guys think about this? What is Glitch up to in general? Will there be something global in episode 5? And will it affect the whole plot of the Amazing Digital Circus as a whole? Write your thoughts and theories in the comments, and I'll be sure to read them. Also, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Good luck everyone, and bye-bye.